Hello, folks, and welcome to tonight's very special episode. If you would, before we get started, please rise for the playing of the National Anthem.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now let's get this party started.
Things are better left unknown. And I'll never find you here, 'cause no one's ever Oh, what a widow, a peaceful spider. When the glass is clean, she's a sneaky hider. Hide the lies and the alibis. Oh, what a sinner. Is it in her? What's the truth in this riddle? Is love really just this simple? I can't seem to find my way in this world that never stays. What a widow, a peaceful spider. When the glass is clean, she's a sneaky hider. Hide the lies and the alibis. What a sinner, is it in her? Is this real? Just illusion? I'm lost in the wonderland of confusion. I'm lost in the wonderland of confusion. Is this real or just illusion? Manifestation or a dark delusion? Is this real or just illusion? I'm lost in a wonderland of confusion.
Rippin' Rabbit Hole is a community-driven radio. At times the community comments may reveal prejudices and other beliefs that we or our sponsors do not condone. Views or opinions expressed by the community, callers, or guests, are those of the individual speaking and do not represent the views or opinions of this site. Rippin' Common Sense content is intended for mature audiences only. Enjoy.
Coming to you from a secret cave, hidden deep within the wilderness. This is the Darkwolf's Den Show. Now, here is your host, Jerry Hicks.
That's right, I am Jerry Hicks, also known as the Dark Wolf, and we are broadcasting live from a secret cave hidden deep within the wilderness of Tennessee. That's right. We're ripping through the electromagnetic soup. We're tearing through the atmosphere, and we're tunneling away into your radio like a quantum particle. This is the Darkwolf's Den Radio Show for Wednesday, April the 13th, 2022. Ha-ha! So whether you're on the edge of a reality, the edge of the galaxy, or the edge of your seat, we're glad you chose us to be right there with you. Folks, tonight's episode is actually very, very special to me, not only because I actually, as I mentioned a moment ago, live in Tennessee and am from Tennessee, but this also happens to be my birthday. So of all days that I get to present this state, my home state, it happens to be on my birthday. What an amazing synchronicity from universe. Would you guys not agree? I just thought that was really cool. What's also really cool is the amount of people we have over here in our chat rooms, both on the Darkwolf's Den Show as well as the Rippin' Rabbit Hole YouTube channel. How you guys doing over here tonight? Sandy B checking in. I guess I must have missed one. Michael Fontaine. Sorry, I hit the wrong button there. I guess I must have missed Michael Fontaine's text here when I pulled the box out. I do apologize. Michael, Sandy B says, hey Michael, I'll be on Rippin's channel. Well, glad that you popped in over at the DWD show. Sandy JoJo's waving in. Moderating over on the DWD show, says, happy late birthday, Darkwolf's Den. It's not late yet. It's still going. It's almost over, but not quite yet. And it's an honor to be celebrating it with you guys like My Life DIY says, woohoo. That's right. Woohoo indeed. Sandy B, I noticed pointing out over here, what a coincidence that it falls on my birthday, the statehood, right? Is that not the coolest ever? She says it's DW's D State, Yahoo, the first one in the Rippin' Rabbit Hole chat over here. Then we got Maggie's Ace checking in, says, hi Sandy, hi Dark, hi Maggie's, glad to see you here celebrating the party with us tonight. Who else we got? JoJo's waving in also on the Rippin' Rabbit Hole. XGen says, evening fellow travelers, I'm driving, be in chat in 28 minutes, eyes on the road, XGen, be safe, and we hope to see you soon. Prairie Fire checking in for the party, glad to see you Prairie Fire along with Man Danny Mull, always a pleasure my friend. Juanito 1975 wishing me a happy birthday earlier. I appreciate that, Juanito. It's been an amazing day, guys. Burgos says, hello, family. Burgos, great to see you, brother. He says, happy birthday, brother. Happy birthday, Burgos. Always a pleasure, my friend. It's been an amazing birthday. I got some welcome surprises. I'm going to go ahead and embarrass her real quick. I do apologize. My Life DIY, also shouting out the happy birthday over here, sent me a really neat surprise. I got a cake. I got some ice cream. I got a fun little dessert bar. I got a big tub of cheese balls, guys. This is amazing, the size of this tub of cheese balls. I got a really cool water cooler water bottle. Just some really awesome stuff. Then I got a audio text message, and guys, This was absolutely the cutest. I also got to share the cake and ice cream, by the way, with my grandsons, who were absolutely enthused with it. It really, really has been an amazing birthday. So thank you so much to everybody who has sent me gifts so far. I really, really sincerely appreciate it. It means the world to me. But what really grabbed my heart, folks, and I did ask permission to play this one on the air. This is a text message that I got, an audio text message from one of my really good friends. Well, one of my really good friends' sons. Check this out.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Thanks, my little buddy. Yes, that is, of course, you can hear it in the background, My Life DIY's beautiful little son, James, with a amazing birthday message. So thank you so very much, James. That was really, really sweet. Again, absolutely amazing. And what's really, really awesome, nonetheless, is to hang out here with you guys and get to celebrate. That just really tops it off. And whether you are listening on YouTube or around the world on Rippin' Common Sense Radio Network, the rippinrabbithole.com, or on BitChute or Rumble on the replay, we're glad to have every last one of you guys along for the ride. That's right, folks. And before we do dive deep down into the state of mystery that is Tennessee, we have two more fun little segments to do, the first of which we call Today On this day in 1970, Apollo 13 announces, quote, "Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here," end quote, as beach-built oxygen tank explodes en route to moon. And actually, for those in the Mandela Effect community, you happen to know that this is a flip-flop on a Mandela Effect and has been both we've had a problem and we have a problem. So looks like we're back to what we all remember, folks, and that is today's segment of Today in History.
Say what?
Our quote of the day today, ladies and gentlemen, comes to us from Brad Paisley. He says, quote, "In Nashville, if people don't like someone, they say, 'I don't really like him,' then add, 'bless his heart.' In Hollywood, they kind of leave off that last part," end quote. And I will tell you guys, funny little piece of fact here. You can say literally anything you want about somebody in the South as long as you end it with "bless their heart." So take Joe, for instance, that no good, low down, low life piece of trash. Bless his heart. See, you can get away with that much more easily in the South. And that is today's segment of
Say what?
And you have to love the South. Good people, good weather, good food, and lots of cryptids to study, especially here in Tennessee, as I've told you guys my own cryptid creature story many times that happened here in Tennessee when I was younger, running into a chupacabra, which I didn't learn was a chupacabra for a couple of years until after the incident occurred. So definitely that creature roaming the Tennessee woodlands, but that is only one of many cryptid creatures in Tennessee. And here to tell us about our cryptids tonight is our old friend Ben Miller. Welcome back, Ben. Tell us about the cryptids of Tennessee, my friend.
Tennessee really has some odd cryptids, but they generally fall into a couple categories. Although I think the one that I want to start off with really is in a realm of its own.
Honestly, to say that this creature is unique is definitely an understatement for sure.
The story goes that around September 24th, 1794, a unit of infantrymen under the command of Captain John Baird were traveling in the Cumberland Mountains near Cove Creek. On this journey, a second party, which included Ensign MacDonald and another unnamed man, were sent ahead of the troops to scout for danger. Not far up ahead, they noticed some strange footprints that resembled that of a goose, but was extremely large. It didn't take long before they came upon the creature that left those tracks, and it was something unimaginable. They saw a being that stood around 4 feet tall, walked bipedally, and had a white tuft of hair like a crown on its massively sized head.
So here already we have a very strange creature, 4 foot in height, a white tuft of hair on its head, and webbed feet like a goose. But wait, there's more.
The body was covered in what was described as being scales that were black and brown, and it also had spots that were a light yellow color. The eyes were rather large and were fiery red.
So possibly even reptilian, definitely amphibious in nature. This is for sure a very strange cryptid already.
At first, the men and this creature just stood there staring at each other. Mr. McDonald knew that they had been instructed not to utilize firearms unless an enemy was present, so he drew his sword and struck the creature. It is said that the being jumped 8 feet in the air, and when it landed, it started spewing a red liquid from its mouth that appeared to be blood. The creature then started to run away, stopping every few feet to turn around as if it was wanting to fight. Finally, it vanished into a thicket of laurels. The men tried to track it down, but couldn't find anything but some of those same goose-like footprints.
So whatever it was definitely injured, and as strange of a put together of a creature this really sounds to be, remember the duckbill platypus and how many different creatures that seems to be smashed together. So even a cryptid as weird as this isn't necessarily out of the realm of possibility, right?
According to the story, local tribes claim that they had heard stories about such a beast for many years, and it was said to be capable of killing a man with its breath. With that statement, you have to wonder if that red liquid was actually blood or a type of poison.
You know, Ben, that is a really, really good point. If it killed with its breath, perhaps it has a venom spitting capability like some snakes do, right? That's, again, not out of the realm of possibility.
Word of this encounter spread far and wide, and at some point letters emerged from the unit involved that they were calling the creature a Chiclasila. I'm not sure what that means, or how they came up with that name. Some think that what the troop actually saw was some form of crane, while others believe it was a reptilian being. Whatever it was, it certainly makes it on the list as being something completely unique.
Now, to be fair, the Sandhill Crane is native to Tennessee, and it is about 4 foot in height. However, it does not look like a reptilian, and they are bipedal, but still, I doubt that these guys were confusing a crane with a cryptid, as strange as this creature is, especially.
Keeping with the unique realm, we need to look at another unknown being that was discovered on May in 2009. A woman named simply as Leslie lived with her husband in their home in Hamlin County. On this property, she came across a cave system that contained quite a few artifacts in the way of cave paintings and writings.
And as a Tennessean, I can tell you that there is a massive cave system that runs underneath the state of Tennessee. There is one entrance in the town in which I live, and that entrance is connected all the way through to the Mammoth Cave system. So there is a large area for these creatures to exist, possibly.
Over a period of time, Leslie and her husband would frequently explore these caverns. According to the report, this activity was something that the pair fairly enjoyed. During one such adventure, they were starting to leave the cave when her husband noticed an odd being, but couldn't make out what it was due to it hiding in the shadows. For some reason, Leslie decided that she was going to investigate what the thing was. Suddenly, her husband heard her screaming and trying to get out of the cave as quick as possible. Once outside, she stated that when she got near the creature, she noticed it was around 4 feet long, the body was covered in brown hair, it had short stubby legs that had 3 claws on each limb.
When I hear the description of this particular creature, I get chills, because as I told you guys about my chupacabra story, and I mentioned earlier in the episode, if you haven't heard that, I've repeated it many times on the air, so I'm not going to go through it again. However, the creature that this lady just described is exactly what I saw. About 4 foot long, short to the ground, stubby legs, dark creature with dark eyes. However, she goes on to describe a little bit more that doesn't quite match what I saw. Check this out.
The oddest part was that it had brown eyes, its face was hairless, and it resembled that of a human being.
So what I saw did not have a human face or a semblance of a human of any type. So that is where the creature differs from my own experience. However, with that said, the majority of the description fits exactly what I've seen. We all have heard over and over and over again about these 3-toed cryptids. And this seems to be the only creatures that have 3 toes are these cryptids. Makes you wonder what, perhaps just classification systems made sure that. But either way, it is quite interesting that this is so close to what I personally have experienced.
Apparently, the creature had the ability to climb the walls of the cave fairly easily. Leslie stated that she was able to get as near as 2 feet away from the creature, but it seemed to be as afraid of her as she was of it. The pair left the cave and refused to return for quite a few months. During that time, she did some research and found a document from 1696 that was written in German, but it depicted the same creature that she had seen.
Now, I do find it very intriguing that, once again, the German document went back to the 1600s. So this is not a new creature per se, right?
This same creature was spotted in Marion County by some hikers. They claimed that they saw it walking along the trail, and it stopped moving once it noticed them. The description stayed the same, including the human-looking face. Now, an investigation has been going on to try to translate the text on the document, and from what I can tell, it appears to be talking about a giant sloth. With this information, a lot of people are wondering if this creature could be related. While sloths aren't known to be in Tennessee and don't prefer caves, I think the similarities between the description and a sloth are hard to ignore.
Now, I will give you that point, Ben. It is a close description to a sloth-like creature. However, the speed of which this creature moved, the creature that I seen, I promise you, was anything but a sloth. And it has the same characteristics, again, even in personality, that this other one that was described had. I'd say I was maybe 5 to 6 feet from the creature, and it looked almost as spooked with us as it did with them. So there is a really interesting parallel between what I personally have experienced in the 90s and this creature that has been described a number of times by a number of other independent witnesses across the state, and that is only one, again, of many unique creatures. Like the next one on our list. Tell us about it, Ben.
Moving on, we find a real head scratcher, since the next being has varying descriptions. It is simply known as the White Screamer, and tales about it have spread all over the state, but it is mainly in White Bluff, located in Dickson County.
I can tell you that I have personal experience in both Dickson County as well as White Bluff, because interestingly enough, White Bluff was at the edge of my stomping grounds as a kid. I lived out in a country area, and White Bluff is another one of those country areas. It was very, very close to where I used to run around all the time. I had a couple friends, I think I still have a couple people I know that live down in White Bluff. So this is a area that I am familiar with, which makes it really crazy that the first time I'm hearing about this cryptid is tonight's episode from Ben, interestingly enough. It's not something that is well known on the ground here, at least not that I've heard of before.
Information is quite varied on this one, since some claim that it is an albino Bigfoot, a mutated human, a wild beast, or even simply a spirit. While not everyone gets a good look at it, with some saying you just see a white blur, others claim it is massive and has a hunched over posture. It is claimed that the beast frequently will kill livestock or even pets.
I will warn those that are of the faint of heart, the next case file has some disturbing elements within it. Viewer discretion is advised.
The first encounter was said to have occurred in 1920. A husband and wife, along with their 7 children, built a house.
Chris Spivey over in the the DarkWolf's Den Show chat. Yes, we have actually, myself and Chris have been down to and through White Bluff a number of times. Once again, this is an area close to the area that I ran around when I was younger. We used to run with me, old Chris Spivey over here, many times. This is one of my running partners for years and years and years. We are both very familiar with this area. Once again, good to have you here, Chris. Always great to have you here. Chris, do you know what today is? Why today is a special episode, sir?
House in the forest of White Bluff. Things were going fairly well for them until they started hearing a strange blood-curdling scream coming from outside their house. This would happen for quite a few nights, which led many family members to be unable to sleep. Finally, one night, the husband grew tired of being tormented, grabbed his gun, and went outside to find who or what was making this noise. He followed the sound, but couldn't see what the creature was. Suddenly, he realized that in following the noise, it had circled him back to his house, where he heard a different type of scream. As he ran inside, he was met with the grisly scene of his family, who had been viciously killed and torn to pieces.
It seems that this creature is both as intelligent as it is dangerous.
There are claims that this house, along with the graves, are still standing to this day. This wouldn't be a one-time event, though, since many hikers and even people driving down the roads have claimed to see this creature as well. The one description that I held back up until this point was that some feel that it resembles the fictional Rake. Let me be clear, though, that while the Rake is fictional, a recent cryptid known as the Crawler is becoming popular. This being looks very similar to the Rake, but for the most part, they don't seem to be bloodthirsty, although they have been known to take up residence under people's homes. Yet, as mentioned, a lot of people say it is an aggressive Bigfoot. So, who knows?
Tennessee, unsurprisingly enough, seems to have its fair share of Bigfoot creatures.
There's a creature in Lincoln County known as the Flintvale Monster, which is named after the town. Sightings of this creature go back to 1976 and up until 1993. It is described as being 7 to 8 feet tall, having 16-inch long feet, and smelling like a skunk.
And for those who feel that that description might seem a little familiar, it reminds me of the Florida skunk ape. What about you guys?
The first encounter was in 1976, when a woman was in her car, when this large ape-like creature jumped on the hood of her car and broke off the radio antenna. It then let out a scream and started pounding on the roof before it finally jumped off and ran into the forest again. On April 26, 1976, a woman named Miss Robertson was sitting on the porch of her house watching her 4-year-old son Gary playing in a nearby field. Suddenly she caught the scent of what she described as dead rats, and it was then that she noticed a huge ape-like creature bounding through the field towards her son. Terrified, she ran to get her boy, and she managed to pick him up just as she saw the Sasquatch reaching out its hairy arm to grab him. They ran into the house and locked the door. After a few moments, Miss Robertson looked outside and saw the beast disappearing into the forest. She called the police, and within moments a full squad showed up with the intent of killing the creature. They searched, and on 2 occasions did hear the creature holler at them and throw rocks.
Another interesting fact of this case file is that we have seen this activity in a number of other case files with Bigfoot creatures where they throw rocks at humans or even howl at the prey to try to taunt them, right?
The Bigfoot managed to elude them, but they did find footprints, hair, mucus, and for some reason, blood. These samples were sent to a lab, and the results couldn't identify what the creature was.
Something that we don't normally have in a case file is actual lab work on evidence found on the scene, and it appears that this lab work turned up a little less than what they had hoped for, so it's clearly not a common ape or anything of that nature, right? Or that would have come up quite easily, it would seem.
A few years later, a plumber claimed that the same creature attacked his vehicle and it smashed his windshield. Another woman reported that the creature chased her into her house and kept beating on the door for quite a bit of time. In 1986, a preacher reported that he found that his windshield and antenna had been destroyed on his car. Finally, in 1993, a group of teenagers claimed that they saw an ape-like being running across the field on the outside of town. During this whole event, farmers claimed that something was killing their livestock, and one man named Ned Sinclair went on record as saying that after seeing the beast, that it was so big that it could easily have hurt somebody.
Though, as with any case file, there are skeptics, those that have seen it truly know that they've seen something that is not normal per se.
While many of these reports could be people just jumping on the bandwagon, I think there is something to the sightings. It also is worth noting that historically, there are a lot of reports of Sasquatch around the world that seem to specifically target women. I don't know why this is, but it is interesting nonetheless.
That actually makes a whole lot of sense to me, as Bigfoot most likely has a more developed smelling system being out in nature and can detect the pheromones most likely given off by humans, especially females, especially during some times of the month opposed to others. But of course that music means we have to go ahead and take a network break right here. So my name's Jerry Hicks, also known as the Dark Wolf, and you're listening to the Darkwolf's Den Radio Show, State of Mystery for Tennessee, a very special birthday episode for me. We will be right back with the second half of the Darkwolf's Den Show and the hauntings of Tennessee after these messages. Stick around, don't touch that dial. That's right.
We gotta stoke the fires and run off the men in black. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
Oh yeah, that howl means your weekend has officially begun. Hi everyone, it's AJ, the Rippin' Rabbit. Are you enjoying tonight's State of Mystery for Tennessee? I know I am. If you are and you haven't done so already, please hop on over to our website, rippinrabbithole.com. That's RIPONRABBITHOLE.com. There you can sign up for your exclusive backstage VIP pass. It's going to give you unfiltered access down the rabbit hole to our privatized social media network where the conversation continues after the show. It's absolutely free to sign up for, and it always will be. We do not shadow ban, sell, give away, or share your information with anyone, so you can feel real comfortable about doing so and doing that. I look forward to seeing you down the rabbit hole at our community-generated press, the rippinrabbithole.com. Jerry Hicks and the Darkwolf's Den Show will return again tomorrow night, Thursday, April 14th. Another look at a state of mystery, this time Texas. That's right, howl along with him as he explores the mystery of the state of Texas. That's tomorrow night, April 14th, 2022. Starts at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10/9 Central, as all shows do. Then, come along with me Friday night and we'll dive deep down the rabbit hole of the good life. We'll explore just how to live the good life. Friday, April 15th, and then Saturday night, fitting for the weekend, Saturday, April 16th, we'll dive down and explore the rabbit hole of the mysterious Easter Island. Easter Island, April 16th. And speaking of Easter, we're not going to end out this holiday weekend right together with you. You're going to end it out with your friends and your family. Heck, you may even choose to end it out with your family's friends, as we are here Easter Sunday, taking the night off. That's right. No show Easter Sunday night, April 17th. Hopefully you can spend that time with loved ones and enjoy the holiday. Are you going to color eggs this year? Are you going to hide them around? Are you going to do an Easter egg hunt on Sunday? Will you wake up in the morning and find an Easter basket? Well, I hope so. I love the chocolate bunnies because I like to eat their ears. All right, we'll return back to tonight's topic for Jerry Hicks, Darkwolf's Den Radio Show. The State of Mystery returns, continuing to howl at Tennessee, his home state, by the way. Happy birthday, Jerry. You're listening to the Rippin' Common Sense Radio Network, home of the Freedom Flame, rippinrabbithole.com.
Thank you. Okay, so apparently I don't know how to use a microphone.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, my little buddy. Thank you so much. If you guys would like to support what we're doing here at the Rippin' Rabbit Hole, specifically at the Darkwolf's Den Radio Show, we have written a book called Moon Madness. The author name is actually under J.W. Hicks. You can find it on Amazon, $7 for the Kindle version, $12 for paperback. And it also helps to go to support what we do here on the channel. Once again, thanks again to my life's little son for that amazing happy birthday message. Not only did he send it once, but he sent it twice just to make sure. I guess he stole her phone to do it, but once again, if you would like to support us, do make sure you check out Moon Madness, available on Amazon.
If you were meant to be controlled, you would have come with a remote, but you didn't. And that's why you listen to the Darkwolf's Den Show. Now, here is your host, Jerry Hicks.
That's right, I am Jerry Hicks, also known as the Dark Wolf. And welcome back to the second half of the Darkwolf's Den Radio Show State of Mystery Series, Tennessee, for Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. So whether you're on the edge of a reality, the edge of the galaxy, or the edge of your seat, we're glad you chose us to be right there with you. Folks, of course, this is a very, very special episode for me, as not only is it my home state, of course, but it's also my birthday, ladies and gentlemen. I am 42 years old today. Like I announced in the first half, it is my birthday. So what are the odds? You guys have followed the State of Mystery series with me for a while. You know, we've had weeks where we weren't able to do it, where we've skipped it, things like that. So what are the odds that my home state would land on my birthday? So incredibly synchronistic. I absolutely love it. What a gift from universe to hang out with all of you guys here tonight. It's absolutely wonderful having all of you guys celebrating with me. It's an absolute blast. And this, if you missed the first half, has been an absolute blast with the number of strange cryptid creatures that have been reported in the great volunteer state of Tennessee. But there's just as many ghosts as there are cryptids, if not more. I would dare say more, as Tennessee is most definitely a battleground state from the Civil War. I am surprised that every inch of the state isn't covered in paranormal activity, and I really think that most of it actually is. At least that has been my experience. But folks, we are going to now dive down into the hauntings in Tennessee. First up on our list,
the Orpheum Theater. The Orpheum Theater in Memphis was built in 1890 as the Grand Opera House, with the name change occurring in 1907. A new theater was built in 1928 on the same site, and it's believed that the renovations may have stirred up something long dead. The Orpheum is the perfect place to start off this countdown, with witnesses describing up to 7 different entities, all with varying features and clothing from different eras. The most famous and commonly seen ghost here is that of Mary, a young girl who died in a car accident in front of the theater.
a very unique aspect to this case file is, most people die in the theater. Of course, that's expected to be a haunting, but dying outside of the theater in a car wreck, it's interesting that she's still locked into those particular grounds. But of course, it still fits our recipe: high emotion, high trauma, haunting.
She is often seen sitting in the balcony near seat C5 and sports long dark curls and a white dress. She is also often seen in the lobby, dancing before vanishing into thin air. Mary has become infamous for playing small pranks, opening and closing doors, setting alarms off, and leaving a cold trail wherever she goes. On several occasions, after hours, staff have reported strange thumping sounds, disembodied voices, and the pipe organ seemingly playing itself, causing employees to call the police. When the police arrive, K-9 units literally refuse to enter the building, and upon investigation, it's found completely empty.
Now, that's another interesting part of case files, haunting case files, I should say, that we don't get a lot of, and that is the animal reactions to said areas. For instance, these dogs, these K-9 trained police dogs, will not enter this building for whatever reason. Apparently they know of and can see the ghost, or at least can sense them, and don't want any part of it. But let's see what else we have in the state of Tennessee hauntings.
The Cocke County Memorial Building. The Cocke County Memorial Building in Newport was built in 1931 and underwent a great tragedy that many believe left a dark mark on the building as well as the surrounding area. On July 9, 1964, United Airlines Flight 823 crashed, leaving 39 dead. The local morgue wasn't big enough, so many bodies as well as individual parts were stored in the memorial building's gymnasium for over 2 weeks, and it's believed that some of their souls still remain.
So if our theory is correct and the recipe fits with high trauma plus high emotion, both of these would be present in a plane crash scenario, right? The fear, the just the intense emotion of the situation at all, including the trauma of the impact. This would leave its mark, and if I'm right, we should have one of the strongest amount of paranormal energies in this small location. Let's see how close we are with our theory.
Throughout the years, many reports have sprouted up detailing unexplainable scratching sounds, objects moving on their own, and an extremely uncomfortable feeling. Numerous investigations have been held here, resulting in extremely high EMF readings, EVPs, and even one crew hearing the sound of a child crying, and what sounded like its mother's voice calling for her child from a distance. Also reported here are extreme cold spots, the sound of coins rolling across the floor, and even the sensation that someone is resting their hand on visitors' shoulders or tapping them for attention. Stay aware of your surroundings at this haunt, as several have entered closets or small rooms only to have the door slam behind them and simultaneously lock, trapping them inside.
So we have a very, very strong amount of active haunting activity from a variety and number of ghosts. So the spiritual energy here is through the roof, as would be expected with our recipe and the amount of souls involved in this one incident, this plane crash, for instance. 39 souls full of trauma and high emotion and impacting, dying instantly. This is definitely going to leave a residual opening for some reason into the other side. It only goes to show how much power we have as humans. The amount of emotion and intent we put into the world literally affects the fabric of reality itself, even up to and especially up to the point of death.
The Ryman Auditorium.
And this case file is pretty well known amongst haunting investigators. However, we seem to have ourselves here what we have classified as the caretaker ghost. Check this out.
In 1885, Thomas Ryman witnessed a speech by esteemed evangelist Sam Jones at a tent revival. Sam's words moved him so that he joined him, and together in 1892 they opened the Union Gospel Tabernacle. It was renamed Ryman Auditorium in 1904 following Thomas's death. then again as the Grand Ole Opry in 1963 while hosting a radio show of the same name, and back to Ryman Auditorium in the mid to late 70s. Thomas's funeral was held in the building, and it's believed he loved the auditorium so much that his spirit remains, with many reporting seeing his translucent form in various chairs, looking out windows, or just rounding corners.
Again, a classic example of a caretaker ghost. We don't have the objects moving around to different places as we have in some, but just a ghost that seems to be wandering and taking care of the property, making sure that everything is going as it should, if you will.
And according to local legend, he's not the only one. Up until 1973, more than 35 people associated with the Opry had untimely or suspicious deaths. This led locals to refer to the occurrence as the Opry Curse. Many have reported apparitions of varying descriptions, including an older man in a gray suit that often floats right over the audience. These spirits are believed to be responsible for some of the other paranormal happenings on the premises.
See, I say that's the spirit of Hank Williams Sr., but I don't know that for a fact. It just seems fitting, right?
Such as disembodied footsteps, chairs moving as if someone invisible is sitting in them, and strange lights coming from the building at night.
And if I said I was surprised even a little bit by any of these hauntings, I would definitely be lying, as the Opry, once again, is a well-known case file. A little more well-known, of course, than our next one on the list.
The Reed House Hotel. The Reed House Hotel in Chattanooga opened its doors in 1872 after John Reed purchased a lot of land that used to house another hotel, which acted as a hospital during the Civil War.
We have heard this in a number of different case files across different states, is these places acting as a Civil War hospital, ending up having a lot of strong paranormal activity.
In 1926, it was torn down and rebuilt into the hotel we all know today. Many famous guests have stayed here throughout the years, including Winston Churchill and Al Capone, and many murders, suicides, and natural deaths have occurred on the premises. Room 311 is said to be the most haunted, with guests reporting the ghost of Annalisa Netherly. Annalisa is said to have been found dead in the room, with some saying she was found nearly decapitated in the bathtub, and others claiming she took her own life. In all renditions of this old tale, she is said to have hated men, especially smokers. To this day, male guests who smoke have reported finding their personal possessions hidden, having the sheets pulled off of them in the middle of the night, and even being attacked and left covered in bruises.
So if you are a male paranormal investigator that likes to smoke cigarettes, this may or may not be the haunt for you to investigate.
Many have also reported her ghostly face popping up in mirrors and reflections, startling any nearby. Throughout the rest of the hotel, numerous full-bodied apparitions, all varying in appearance, have been sighted, and staff and guests report catching EVPs, orbs in photos, shadowy apparitions throughout the halls, lights turning on and off, temperature changes, ghostly soldiers, and even the spirit of the big fella himself, Al Capone, who likes to stop in for the occasional drink with unsuspecting guests.
Al Capone, of course, not being a person that one would generally expect to hear about being in Tennessee, but I will tell you that that particular area of Tennessee is mountainous, so the amount of crystals and whatnot in the soil may have something to do with the amount of haunting energy there. That's just a theory, but let's see what else we have in the strange state of Tennessee.
The Carnton Plantation. The Carnton Plantation in Franklin was built in 1826 by Randall McGavick through slave labor, with 2 acres of the plot dedicated as the McGavick Confederate Cemetery, a burial ground for those killed in the Battle of Franklin in 1864. The plantation also acted as the largest temporary field hospital around, and it was definitely needed as the battle left 9,500 dead, wounded, or missing. When it was all said and done, 4 generals' bodies were laid on the back porch, and nearly 1,500 men were buried in the cemetery, 558 of which are still unidentified. Those brave enough to explore this haunt, especially after dark, report the sound of phantom soldiers marching, disembodied shouts and commands through the night, and war drums. Many have reported shadowy apparitions that slink throughout the area, following any who enter, and on several occasions, ghostly soldiers from both sides have been seen wandering the headstones.
And I can tell you that that is not the only place in Tennessee that has the same parts of the haunting case file in a battleground. Fort Donaldson, which is again very, very close to the area I grew up in, has also the soldiers that are heard shouting commands at night, marching through the grounds, things like that. I've had reports of that personally from many people who claim to have experienced that also. So this is pretty common amongst these Civil War battleground stories, at least here in Tennessee.
One apparition likes to break glass, and on several occasions, residents, staff, and visitors have watched a ghostly form appear on the other side of a window right before it shatters into a million pieces, leaving nothing on the other side. Also reported here are heavy bootsteps throughout the halls, a strange candlelight glow coming from empty rooms at night, and even the full-bodied apparitions of Randall McGavick and his wife, Carrie, who are said to most often be seen relaxing in various chairs or admiring wall hangings. The most terrifying apparition here is said to be that of a general who rides his horse threateningly through the night and has sent many running in fear for their lives.
And it seems that all of these case files so far seem to, especially battlefield case files, seem to definitely fit our recipe of high trauma plus high emotion. Let's see what other case files we have on our list tonight.
Shiloh National Military Park. Shiloh National Military Park in Shiloh was the site of the Battle of Shiloh, which occurred on April 6th and 7th of 1862. The battle resulted in nearly 24,000 killed, wounded, or missing, and it's said that many who perished here left their tortured souls on the battlefield. Those brave enough to walk the trails and pathways that wind through these now picturesque fields, forests, and ponds report a wide range of supernatural happenings, including ghostly cannon fire in the distance, an otherworldly drumbeat, and the pond water even turning dark red, like blood. The apparitions here like to show up in photographs and appear as white, cloud-like figures in the shape of a man. Also reported here are disembodied bootsteps marching around and a mysterious male entity that wanders the peach orchard, especially at night. Inside the old buildings and dorms, many report doors slamming shut, windows opening and closing on their own, strange breezes that whip through halls, and even screams and moans of dying men. As darkness falls, many report seeing the full-bodied apparitions of soldiers all around the surrounding area, in reflections, through windows, and even entire battles that they think to be some form of reenactment, only to watch hundreds of men disappear without a trace.
This is another piece of the case files that have been given to me from local battlefields, is the fact that these people think they're watching some type of reenactment of a battle, only to be very astonished when everything just vanishes. Or they go and ask the park attendant about the battle in which, or the replication of the battle, what time it was supposed to be, to which the park attendant is astonished because there was no such thing to begin with. So there you go. This is a repetitive thing in a lot of the battleground case files that I've also seen.
Lastly, a dark mass has been seen floating throughout the trees, seemingly surveying the battlefield. Some accounts of this entity are very disturbing, and multiple witnesses report being chased upon crossing its path.
Well, I'm not much of a runner, so let us hope I don't cross the path of this particular ghost, because it would definitely catch up with me. But we've got one more battleground case file before we close out tonight's show.
Stones River National Battlefield. Stones River National Battlefield in Murfreesboro is a 570-acre park along the Stones River dedicated to the battle that took place there during the turn of 1862 to 1863. The battle lasted 3 days, leaving 24,645 dead, injured, or missing. Stones River National Cemetery is also located here, with more than 6,100 Union soldiers buried on its grounds, and over 2,500 of them unknown. The area known as the Slaughter Pen is said to be the most haunted, and it's said to hold a strange stillness, with many reporting wildlife literally avoiding the whole zone. At night, many who have explored the slaughter pen report hearing phantom screams, the sounds of gunshots, and orders being called out into the night. Those who witness these phantom sounds claim they sound exceedingly real, as if the battle is happening just out of sight. The lone apparition of a soldier is said to show up in the reenactor camps, blending in with the actors, even eating lunch with them. When anyone notices he's not one of the normal actors or tries to talk to him, he vanishes into thin air. Also reported across the grounds are strange lights that float through the trees, shadows moving around, and even rocks being thrown at visitors by invisible hands. If you're walking your dog, be careful, as it's common for animals to react to what seems like someone invisible directly in front of them, even becoming so panicked that they drag their owners behind them. Lastly, visitors to the area also commonly report orbs and ghostly images showing up in photographs, namely the ghost of a headless soldier riding his horse. Legend has it his head was shot off, and his soul is stuck here searching for it.
Wow, it seems that Tennessee even has its own version of the Headless Horseman, but what do you guys think? Do you think we've got enough cryptid creatures and hauntings to consider Tennessee a state of mystery? Or do you think that perhaps we're barking up the wrong tree? In the end, folks, all you can do is look at the evidence, apply a little common sense, and...
You be the judge.
That's right, Bubby. We got to close it out. That's right, that's it for this episode of the Darkwolf's Den Radio Show for Wednesday, April the 13th, 2022. So whether you're on the edge of a reality, the edge of the galaxy, or the edge of your seat, we're glad you chose us to be right there with you. Folks, the den may be closing, but don't you worry, the weekend fun has only just begun. Now that we've got it kicked off right with Tennessee, we're going to have yet another State of Mystery tomorrow, Thursday, April 14th, 2022, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10/9 Central on the Darkwolf's Den Radio Show will be the great state of Texas. They say everything is bigger in Texas. We'll see if their paranormal is just as big as everything else down there. And that is tomorrow, Thursday, April 14th, 2022, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10/9 Central on the Darkwolf's Den Radio Show State of Mystery series. And then on Friday, April 15th, Tax Day, folks, 2022, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10/9 Central, our buddy AJ the Rippin' Rabbit comes back to the airwaves with an all-new episode of the Rippin' Rabbit Hole Live Show. This go round, he's going to be talking about the good life. That's right. Are you living the good life? What is considered the good life? Do you need money, or is it having a bunch of amazing friends and family surrounding you? What is the good life to you? AJ will be discussing all that and more on Friday, April the 15th, 2022, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10/9 Central, like all shows here on the network. Then on Saturday, April 16th, 2022, again, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10/9 Central, being Easter weekend nonetheless, AJ will be covering Easter Island, a place that is stout in mystery in and of itself, the home of the heads of the Moai, right? The great big stone heads that just happen to be scattered all around the island. So many strange tales from Easter Island, and I'm sure AJ will be exploring all of them on Saturday, April the 16th, 2022, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10/9 Central. Then Sunday, we hope that you guys have a very wonderful and safe and happy Easter Sunday, as we will be taking a break on that day and will not be doing a show here on the network. We probably won't even be running reruns over on YouTube, but you can always stay up to date with when we are running shows by hopping on over to the rippinrabbithole.com. That is RIPON RABBITHOLE.com. Over there, once again, you're going to find the Listen Live on air schedule for all the shows that are coming up every weekend, all weekend long, from the Darkwolf's Den shows to the Rippin' Rabbit Hole and everything in between. Also, while you're over there, make sure that you check out the 24/7 Backstage Lounge, my favorite place to hang out and where I will be right after the show tonight, here in just a couple minutes, as a matter of fact. But before you can enjoy any of these fun things, you do have to make sure that you sign up for the Backstage Pass. This is and always will be absolutely free, and that's going to get you access to the rest of the site. Also, check out our groups section over there, the Darkwolf's Den Show, the Rippin' Rabbit Hole, Juanito 1975's Lucid Dreaming, the International Mandela Effect Conference, and so many more to choose from. And if you don't find something you're interested in, you can always start your own. But with that said, folks, I will see you guys over on the rippinrabbithole.com as we have to go ahead and get out of here. So my name's Jerry Hicks, also known as the Dark Wolf, and you're listening to the Darkwolf's Den Radio Show exclusively on Rippin' Common Sense Radio Network, the Rippin' Rabbit Hole. On behalf of AJ the Rippin' Rabbit, Chick Mandela Effect, Michael Muska, Walt House, everyone involved with Rippin' Common Sense Radio Network, we appreciate you being here. And remember, until next time, stay awake, but dare to dream. Good night, everybody. How? Yeah. That's right.
Unlocked and into the dark. Some things are better left unknown. And I'll never find you here, 'cause no one's ever Oh, what a widow, a peaceful spider. When the glass is clean, she's a sneaky hider. Hide the lies and the alibis. Oh, what a sinner, is it in her? What's the truth in this riddle? Is love really just this simple? I can't seem to find my way in this world that never stays. What a widow, a peaceful spider. When the glass is clean, she's a sneaky hider. Hide the lies and the alibis. What a sinner, is it in her? Is this real? Just illusion? I'm lost in the wonderland of confusion. I'm lost in the wonderland of confusion. Is this real or just illusion? Manifestation or a dark delusion? Is this real or just illusion? I'm lost in a wonderland of confusion.
Thank you, everybody, for being here and helping me celebrate such an amazing birthday, you guys. Until tomorrow night, hope you guys have a great night. Bye, everyone.